Have you noticed you're getting up more often at night to use the bathroom? Or maybe you feel unusually tired even though you're getting plenty of sleep. Here's something most seniors don't realize. These could be early warning signs that your kidneys are silently failing. And the shocking truth? The foods you're eating every single day might be accelerating the damage. I'm speaking to you as someone who has reviewed hundreds of kidney health cases in seniors over 60. What I'm about to share isn't just about your kidneys, it's about your survival. Because once your kidneys start to fail, everything else follows. Your heart, your bones, your brain, even your ability to stay independent. The worst part? 8 common foods you probably ate this week are quietly destroying your kidney function right now. Foods your doctor may have never warned you about. Foods that seem healthy but contain 3 dangerous minerals that aging kidneys simply cannot process. And here's what terrifies me the most. By the time most seniors feel symptoms, they've already lost 60 to 70% of their kidney function. That damage is permanent. But if you stay with me until the end of this video, I'll reveal the hidden mistake that almost every senior over 60 makes, a mistake that silently poisons your bloodstream and puts you at risk for heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac arrest. This information could save your life. Let's begin. Have you noticed you're getting up more often at night to use the bathroom? Maybe 2, 3, even 4 times? Or perhaps you feel unusually tired even though you're getting plenty of sleep. You might brush these symptoms off as just getting older. But here's something most seniors don't realize. These could be early warning signs that your kidneys are silently failing. And the shocking truth? The foods you're eating every single day might be accelerating that damage. I'm speaking to you today as someone who has reviewed hundreds of kidney health cases in seniors over 60. And what I'm about to share with you isn't just about your kidneys, it's about your survival. Because once your kidneys start to fail, everything else in your body follows like dominoes. Your heart weakens. Your bones become brittle. Your brain gets foggy. Even your ability to stay independent and care for yourself begins to slip away. The worst part? 8 common foods you probably ate this week, maybe even today, are quietly destroying your kidney function right now. Foods that seem innocent, even healthy. Foods your doctor may have never warned you about. Foods that contain 3 dangerous minerals that your aging kidneys simply cannot process anymore. And here's what terrifies me the most as someone who has seen this pattern over and over again. By the time most seniors actually feel symptoms, they've already lost 60 to 70% of their kidney function. And that damage? It's permanent. It's irreversible. But if you stay with me until the very end of this video, I'll reveal the hidden mistake that almost every senior over 60 makes, a mistake that silently poisons your bloodstream and puts you at serious risk for heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac arrest. This information could genuinely save your life. So let's not waste another second. Let's begin. Now, mistake number 1 might not surprise you at first, but the details absolutely will. So stay with me here. Picture this. You wake up in the morning and cook yourself a few strips of bacon. Crispy, delicious, familiar. For lunch, you make a sandwich with deli turkey or ham from the grocery store. And for dinner, because you're tired and don't feel like cooking, you heat up a can of soup or open a package of pre-seasoned chicken. Sound familiar? Here's the problem. These processed and canned foods, bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli meats, canned soups, canned vegetables, packaged meals, frozen dinners, seem convenient and harmless. But they're absolutely loaded with one of the most dangerous minerals for aging kidneys: sodium. And I'm not talking about the tiny pinch of salt you add to your eggs. I'm talking about massive amounts, sometimes over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in a single serving. Now let me explain why this matters so much after age 60. Your kidneys are incredible organs. They filter about 120 to 150 quarts of blood every single day, removing waste, balancing minerals, and keeping your entire system in harmony. But after 60, your kidneys naturally begin to lose their filtering power. It's not your fault, it's just biology. The tiny filtering units inside your kidneys, called nephrons, start to decline. You lose about 10% of your kidney function every decade after age 40. So when you eat high-sodium foods like hot dogs, sausage, cold cuts, canned vegetables, or packaged meals, your weakened kidneys can't eliminate that excess salt efficiently anymore. And here's where the danger begins. That sodium traps water in your bloodstream. Think about it, salt holds onto water. That's basic chemistry. So when sodium stays in your blood, it forces your body to retain extra fluid. Your blood volume increases. Your heart has to pump harder. Your blood pressure skyrockets. And high blood pressure is the #1 cause of kidney damage in seniors. It's a vicious cycle. High sodium causes high blood pressure. High blood pressure damages your kidneys further. Damaged kidneys can't remove sodium. The cycle repeats, getting worse and worse until your kidneys begin to fail completely. Let me give you a simple analogy so you can really visualize what's happening inside your body right now. Think of your kidneys like a water filter in your home, like a Brita filter, or the filter in your refrigerator. When that filter is brand new, it works perfectly. The water flows through clean and pure. But after years of use, that filter gets clogged. It gets slow. It starts to fail. Now imagine pouring salt water through that old, clogged filter every single day. The salt crystals build up. They clog the filter even more. The pressure increases because water can't flow through properly anymore. Eventually, if you keep doing this day after day, week after week, year after year, that filter cracks. It breaks. It stops working. That's exactly what's happening inside your body when you eat high-sodium processed and canned foods every day. The CDC, the National Institutes of Health, and the National Kidney Foundation all confirm this in their research. Excess sodium causes dangerous fluid buildup, chronically elevated blood pressure, and accelerated kidney failure. And once that failure reaches a certain point, there's no turning back. You're looking at dialysis, transplants, or worse. But here's what makes this even more insidious. These processed foods don't just contain sodium for flavor. Food manufacturers add sodium as a preservative to make these products last longer on the shelf. That canned soup sitting in your pantry? It might be 3 years old. How is that possible? Sodium. Lots and lots of sodium. The same goes for deli meats, packaged meals, frozen dinners. They're all engineered to last, not to nourish. Now I'm not here to tell you that you can never enjoy a flavorful meal again. That's not realistic, and it's not necessary. But you do need to make some smarter choices starting today. First, start reading labels. I mean really reading them. Look at the sodium content per serving. If you see anything over 400 milligrams per serving, put it back on the shelf. Choose fresh meats instead: chicken breast, lean beef, pork without any added seasonings or marinades. Or choose frozen meats that specifically say, no salt added. Second, if you do buy canned vegetables, and I understand they're convenient, rinse them thoroughly under cold water before you eat them. This simple step can remove up to 40% of the added sodium. Third, get creative with flavor. Use herbs like rosemary, thyme, basil, and oregano. Use spices like garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, and black pepper. Use fresh lemon juice, vinegar, or a splash of hot sauce. You'll be amazed at how much flavor you can create without relying on salt. But here's the thing, sodium isn't the only hidden danger lurking in your pantry right now. The next food I'm about to reveal looks refreshing and innocent. You might even drink it every day thinking it's no big deal. But it's silently calcifying your arteries and weakening your bones at this very moment. Let me explain what I mean. Now, mistake number 2 might actually surprise you. Because this is something millions of seniors consume every single day without a second thought. Picture yourself sitting down for lunch. You've made a sandwich, maybe some chips on the side, and you reach into the refrigerator for a cold cola. That fizzy, sweet, refreshing taste. Or maybe you prefer root beer in the afternoon while you're watching television. Perhaps you grab a Dr. Pepper or a Pepsi when you're out running errands. These dark-colored sodas taste harmless. They feel like a small treat, a little reward in your day. But here's what the soda companies don't advertise on those colorful cans and bottles. These drinks contain a hidden additive that your aging kidneys absolutely cannot handle. I'm talking about phosphoric acid and other phosphate-based chemicals like sodium phosphate. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't phosphorus something my body needs? And yes, you're right, phosphorus is an essential mineral. Your body uses it to build strong bones and teeth, to help your nerves function, to produce energy. But, and this is a massive but, there's a world of difference between the natural phosphorus found in foods and the chemical phosphorus added to sodas. Here's the terrifying part that most people never learn. The phosphorus in sodas is inorganic. It's a synthetic chemical additive, not the organic phosphorus naturally present in foods like chicken, fish, or beans. And this distinction matters more than you could ever imagine. When you eat foods with natural phosphorus, your body absorbs only about 40 to 60% of it. The rest passes through your system and gets eliminated. But when you drink a soda containing inorganic phosphoric acid, your body absorbs almost 100% of that chemical phosphorus directly into your bloodstream. Every single drop. No exceptions. Now, when you're young and your kidneys are functioning at full capacity, they can handle this phosphorus overload and filter it out relatively quickly. But after age 60, when your kidney function has naturally declined by 20, 30, maybe even 40%, your kidneys simply can't keep up anymore. They can't filter that phosphorus out fast enough. So what happens? Phosphorus levels in your blood spike dangerously high, a condition doctors call hyperphosphatemia. And this is where things get truly frightening, because high phosphorus doesn't just damage your kidneys. It launches a cascading attack on your entire body. First, when phosphorus levels rise in your blood, your body panics. It tries to balance itself by pulling calcium out of your bones to neutralize the excess phosphorus. So your bones start losing calcium rapidly. They become brittle. They become porous. They become weak. You're now at serious risk for fractures, breaks, and osteoporosis. But here's the part that keeps me up at night. That calcium doesn't just disappear into thin air. It has to go somewhere. And where does it go? It deposits itself in all the places you absolutely don't want calcium: your heart, your arteries, your eyes, and your blood vessels. Imagine calcium crystals slowly hardening inside the walls of your arteries, like concrete setting in a mold. Your arteries lose their flexibility. They become stiff and narrow. Blood can't flow freely anymore. Your heart has to work exponentially harder to pump blood through these rigid, calcified passages. And the result? Dramatically increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac death. Let me give you a visualization that makes this crystal clear. Imagine your bloodstream as a beautiful clean river flowing through your body. This river carries oxygen, nutrients, everything your cells need to survive and thrive. Now, every time you drink a dark soda, it's like someone dumping a bucket of thick mud into that river. That mud is the inorganic phosphorus. In a healthy young person, the kidneys act like a powerful filtration dam downstream. They catch the mud before it can cause problems and remove it from the river. But in seniors over 60, that filtration dam is old. It's cracked. It's running at half capacity. So the mud doesn't get filtered out. Instead, it starts settling and accumulating. It hardens along the walls of your arteries, along the riverbanks. Over time, these hardened deposits narrow the river. They clog the pathways. They block the flow of blood to your heart, your brain, your vital organs. The National Kidney Foundation and research published by the National Institutes of Health confirm this in study after study. Elevated phosphorus levels dramatically increase your risk of cardiovascular disease, heart attack, stroke, and sudden death. In fact, seniors with high phosphorus levels have up to a 50% higher risk of dying from heart-related complications compared to those with normal levels. And here's what makes this even more sinister. The soda industry adds phosphoric acid to their products, specifically to prevent discoloration and to give that sharp, tangy flavor you associate with cola. It's not there for your health. It's there for their profit margins and product shelf life. But here's the good news, and I always want to give you hope alongside the hard truths. You can reverse this damage starting right now today with one simple decision. Stop drinking sodas. Replace those colas and root beers with clean, pure water. I know it sounds boring, but your kidneys will thank you. If plain water feels too bland, add a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime. Brew some herbal tea, chamomile, peppermint, hibiscus, and drink it cold over ice. It's refreshing and completely phosphorus-free. And if you're someone who craves that carbonation, that fizzy sensation, I completely understand. Try plain sparkling water or seltzer with a splash of fresh fruit juice. Just a splash, not a whole cup. Muddle some fresh berries or cucumber slices in there. You'll get flavor, you'll get that satisfying fizz, but without the chemical phosphorus that's destroying your kidneys and calcifying your arteries. Now, the next food on this list might genuinely surprise you, because it's something doctors have been telling us to eat for decades to build strong bones and get enough calcium. But for seniors with kidney issues, it's actually dangerous. Let's talk about dairy products and why they might be silently threatening your health right now. Now we're getting into territory that confuses most seniors, because the next foods I'm about to discuss are ones that doctors and nutritionists have been recommending for decades. But here's what most people don't realize. What's healthy for someone with strong kidneys can be deadly for someone whose kidneys are declining. Let me paint a picture of what I see in patient after patient. You wake up in the morning and pour yourself a tall glass of milk with breakfast. Maybe you have a bowl of yogurt with some granola for gut health, because everyone's talking about probiotics these days, right? At lunch, you snack on a piece of cheese. And throughout the day, you're making what you think are smart, healthy choices. A banana for potassium to prevent cramps, an orange for vitamin C, maybe some avocado toast because it's trendy and heart healthy. All of these foods have been promoted as nutritious, essential parts of a balanced diet. And for most of your life, they probably were. But here's the harsh reality. These foods, milk, cheese, yogurt, bananas, oranges, avocados, tomatoes, potatoes, and dried fruits are absolutely loaded with two minerals that your damaged kidneys can no longer eliminate efficiently: phosphorus and potassium. And when these minerals build up in your bloodstream, they don't just cause minor discomfort. They trigger life-threatening complications that can kill you suddenly and without warning. Let me start with dairy products: milk, cheese, and full-fat yogurt. These foods are high in natural, organic phosphorus. Now I want to be clear. This isn't the same as the chemical phosphorus we talked about in sodas. Natural phosphorus from dairy is absorbed at a lower rate, around 40 to 60%, compared to nearly 100% from additives. But here's the catch. When you consume large amounts of dairy every single day, a glass of milk in the morning, cheese on your sandwich, yogurt as a snack, that natural phosphorus still accumulates. Your weakened kidneys can't filter it out fast enough. Your phosphorus levels rise dangerously high, leading to the exact same problems we discussed earlier: calcium being pulled from your bones, making them brittle and fragile, and then that calcium depositing in your arteries, your heart, and your blood vessels, hardening them like concrete. But now let me tell you about potassium, and this is where things get truly terrifying. Potassium is an essential mineral. Your body needs it for muscle function, nerve signals, and maintaining proper fluid balance. When your kidneys are healthy and functioning normally, they regulate potassium levels automatically. They filter out any excess and keep everything in perfect balance. But when your kidneys are weak, when they're functioning at only 50 or 60 or 40% capacity, they lose this ability. Potassium starts building up in your blood, reaching dangerously high levels. This condition is called hyperkalemia, and I need you to understand something. Hyperkalemia is one of the most dangerous complications of kidney disease because it attacks your heart directly. Foods like bananas, oranges, avocados, tomatoes, potatoes, dried fruits like prunes and apricots, and even fruit juices are incredibly rich in potassium. A single banana contains about 400 to 450 milligrams of potassium. A medium baked potato? Over 900 milligrams. A cup of tomato sauce? Nearly 700 milligrams. And seniors with declining kidney function should be limiting their daily potassium intake to around 2,000 milligrams or less, sometimes much less depending on their kidney function tests. So you can see how quickly this adds up. 3 seemingly innocent foods in one day, a banana, a potato, and a glass of orange juice, and you've already exceeded safe limits. Now let me explain exactly what happens when potassium levels get too high, because this is absolutely critical for you to understand. Think of your heart as a battery-powered clock. It ticks at a steady, reliable rhythm, beat after beat, minute after minute, day after day. That rhythm is controlled by electrical signals that travel through your heart muscle, telling it when to contract and when to relax. And potassium is the mineral that regulates those electrical signals. It's literally the electricity that keeps your heart ticking at the right pace. When potassium levels are normal, your heart beats perfectly, usually between 60 and 100 beats per minute, steady and strong. But when potassium levels surge too high, when that battery gets overloaded with too much electricity, the clock goes haywire. Your heart rhythm becomes irregular. It might tick too fast, racing out of control. It might tick too slow, barely beating at all. Or in the worst cases, it stops completely. This isn't an exaggeration. Medline Plus, which is published by the National Institutes of Health, and the National Kidney Foundation both confirm in their research that hyperkalemia is one of the leading causes of sudden cardiac arrest and death in seniors with kidney disease. You could be sitting in your living room watching television, feeling completely fine, and your heart suddenly goes into a fatal arrhythmia because your potassium levels have quietly climbed too high. There are often no warning signs, no chest pain, no shortness of breath, just sudden, catastrophic heart failure. And here's what makes this even more tragic. Many seniors don't even know they have declining kidney function until they end up in the emergency room with dangerously high potassium levels. They've been eating bananas every morning for heart health. They've been drinking orange juice for vitamin C. They've been loading up on avocados because of all the healthy fat trends. And all the while, they've been slowly poisoning themselves. But once again, I want you to hear this loud and clear. There is hope. You are not powerless here. First, if you love dairy, you don't have to eliminate it completely. Just be strategic. Instead of a large glass of milk, have a small half-cup serving. Choose lower phosphorus dairy alternatives like almond milk or rice milk. And measure your portions of cheese and yogurt instead of eating them freely. Second, when it comes to potassium, you need to become intentional about your fruit and vegetable choices. Instead of bananas, choose apples, berries, grapes, or watermelon, all lower in potassium. Instead of oranges and orange juice, go for tangerines or pineapple in moderation. Instead of avocados, try cucumber or zucchini for that creamy texture in salads. For vegetables, avoid potatoes, tomatoes, winter squash, and spinach. Instead, choose green beans, cabbage, cauliflower, and bell peppers, all much lower in potassium. And if you do eat a higher potassium vegetable like potatoes, there's a technique called leaching, where you soak and boil them in water to pull out some of the potassium before eating. Most importantly, avoid concentrated sources like tomato sauce, tomato paste, and dried fruits. These are potassium bombs that can spike your levels dangerously fast. But here's where it gets even more confusing and frankly more frustrating. The next two foods I'm about to reveal are considered superfoods by nutritionists. They're recommended constantly for weight loss, for heart health, for longevity. But for seniors over 60 with declining kidney function, they could be silently poisoning your blood and sabotaging your health. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will shock you. Now, this next mistake is perhaps the most frustrating one of all, because you made these changes thinking you were doing everything right. You were following your doctor's advice. You were being health conscious. But nobody told you the whole truth. Let me tell you a story I've heard dozens of times from my patients. A few years ago, maybe your doctor told you to watch your cholesterol, lose a little weight, and eat healthier. So you did exactly what you were supposed to do. You switched from white bread to whole wheat bread. You replaced white rice with brown rice. You started buying whole grain pasta and whole grain cereals because every health magazine, every nutritionist, every expert on television said that whole grains are better for you. And then, because your blood pressure was creeping up, your doctor told you to cut back on salt. So you went to the grocery store and found those green and white containers of salt substitute, brands like New Salt or No Salt or Mrs. Salt-free seasoning blends. The label said healthier alternative and low sodium, so you bought them. You started using them on everything, your eggs, your vegetables, your chicken. These changes seemed like smart, responsible choices. And for most people, they absolutely are. But here's the painful truth that nobody prepared you for. If you're a senior with declining kidney function, these healthy foods can actually be dangerous. In some cases, they can be deadly. Let me start with whole grains, because this one shocks people the most. Whole wheat bread and brown rice are considered nutritional powerhouses for the general population. They're high in fiber, rich in vitamins, loaded with minerals, and that's exactly the problem. When I say loaded with minerals, I'm specifically talking about phosphorus and potassium. And we've already established that these are the two minerals your aging kidneys cannot handle anymore. Here are the numbers, and I want you to really pay attention to this. A single slice of whole wheat bread contains about 57 milligrams of phosphorus and 69 milligrams of potassium. Compare that to white bread, which has only 28 milligrams of phosphorus and 32 milligrams of potassium, almost half the amount. Brown rice? 1 cup contains approximately 150 milligrams of phosphorus and 154 milligrams of potassium. White rice? Only 68 milligrams of phosphorus and 55 milligrams of potassium. Again, less than half. Now for someone with healthy, fully functioning kidneys, these differences don't matter. Their kidneys can filter out the excess minerals without breaking a sweat. But for seniors with chronic kidney disease, even early stage, kidney disease that hasn't been diagnosed yet, these minerals accumulate in your bloodstream day after day, meal after meal. And the result? The same catastrophic problems we've been discussing. Phosphorus pulls calcium from your bones, weakening your skeleton and depositing that calcium in your arteries and heart valves. Potassium builds up to dangerous levels, disrupting your heart's electrical rhythm and putting you at risk for sudden cardiac arrest. This is why renal dietitians, specialists who work specifically with kidney patients, often advise seniors with kidney disease to actually choose white grains over whole grains. It goes against everything you've been taught, I know. But when your kidneys are compromised, white rice and white bread become the safer choice. Many seniors discover they have high blood pressure in their 60s or 70s. The doctor says, cut back on sodium. So you think, okay, I'll use a salt substitute instead. It sounds logical. It sounds safe. But here's what most people don't realize. The vast majority of salt substitutes don't just reduce sodium, they replace it. And what do they replace it with? Potassium chloride. Pure, concentrated potassium. Look at the label on products like new salt or no salt. The primary ingredient is potassium chloride. So when you shake that green container onto your food, thinking you're making a heart-healthy choice, you're actually dumping massive amounts of potassium into every meal. And if your kidneys can't filter that potassium out properly, which they can't if you're over 60 with declining kidney function, your blood potassium levels can spike rapidly and dangerously into the hyperkalemia danger zone. We're talking about a medical emergency. We're talking about life-threatening irregular heartbeats. We're talking about the kind of heart complications that can kill you suddenly, without warning. Let me give you an analogy that makes this crystal clear. Imagine your kidneys as the waste disposal system for an entire city. When the system is new and operating at full capacity, it can handle all types of waste, residential trash, commercial waste, everything. The trucks pick it up, the processing plant filters it, and everything runs smoothly. But now imagine that waste disposal system is 60 or 70 years old. It's outdated. The machinery is worn down. The processing capacity has been cut in half. The system can still handle regular residential trash or everyday waste, but it struggles with anything heavy-duty. Now imagine someone starts dumping industrial-grade waste into that old, overloaded system. Chemicals, heavy materials. Things the system was never designed to process in large volumes. What happens? The system gets overwhelmed. It clogs, it backs up. It fails. That's exactly what whole grains and salt substitutes are doing to your kidneys. They're dumping industrial-grade levels of phosphorus and potassium into a disposal system that's already struggling to keep up with normal waste. Medical News Today and the National Kidney Foundation confirm this in their patient guidelines. Seniors with chronic kidney disease should limit whole grains and avoid potassium-based salt substitutes entirely. But here's the good news, and I always want you to walk away with actionable hope. First, make the switch back to white rice and white bread. I know it feels like you're going backwards, like you're making an unhealthy choice. But for your kidneys, it's the right move. White grains are lower in phosphorus and potassium, which means they're safer for your declining kidney function. Second, throw away those salt substitutes. I'm serious, go into your kitchen right now after this video and toss them in the trash. They are not worth the risk. Third, get creative with flavor using herbs and spices that are naturally low in potassium. Use fresh garlic, fresh ginger, basil, oregano, rosemary, thyme and cilantro. Use lemon juice, lime juice, and vinegar for brightness and acidity. Use a small amount of hot sauce or black pepper for heat. You can create incredibly flavorful meals without relying on salt or dangerous salt substitutes. And most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, never use any salt substitute without consulting your doctor first and getting your kidney function tested. A simple blood test can tell you whether your kidneys can handle these products or whether they'll put your life at risk. Now we've reached the most critical part of this entire video. Everything I've shared so far, the processed meats, the sodas, the dairy, the high potassium foods, the whole grains, the salt substitutes, they all tie together into one massive, hidden mistake that almost every senior over 60 makes. And it's the one thing that could genuinely save your life if you understand it. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything. Now, everything I've shared with you up until this moment, every food, every mineral, every danger has been building toward this one critical revelation. And I need you to listen carefully, because this is the hidden mistake that almost every senior over 60 makes. Most men never realize this until it's too late. Here's the shocking, devastating truth that almost no one talks about. Most seniors over 60 don't even know their kidney function is declining until it's far too late to prevent serious damage. Let me say that again, because it's that important. You could be walking around right now feeling fine, going about your daily life, working in your garden, playing with your grandchildren, traveling, enjoying retirement, and your kidneys could be failing, slowly, silently, without sending you a single warning sign. You have energy. You feel relatively healthy. Maybe you have a few aches and pains, but doesn't everyone at this age? You assume everything inside your body is working the way it's supposed to. And that assumption, that dangerous false sense of security, is what puts millions of seniors at risk every single year. Because here's the medical reality that terrifies me as someone who has reviewed countless cases. By the time you actually start experiencing noticeable symptoms, fatigue that won't go away, swelling in your ankles and feet, confusion, difficulty concentrating, persistent nausea, shortness of breath, you've already lost 60 to 70% of your kidney function. Let me put that in perspective. Your kidneys have an incredible amount of reserve capacity built into them. They can continue performing their essential filtering duties even when they're significantly damaged. So they compensate. They work harder. They push through. And they don't send distress signals to your brain until they're on the verge of complete failure. And by that point, the damage is permanent. It's irreversible. There's no surgery, no medication, no procedure that can bring back dead kidney tissue. Once those nephrons, those tiny filtering units inside your kidneys, are destroyed, they're gone forever. Now let me explain why this silent decline is so catastrophically dangerous. Your kidneys aren't just filtering waste out of your blood, though that alone would be critical enough. They're performing dozens of life-sustaining functions that your body depends on every single moment of every single day. They regulate your blood pressure. They balance your electrolytes. They produce hormones that stimulate red blood cell production. They activate vitamin D so your body can absorb calcium and maintain strong bones. They maintain the precise pH balance of your blood. When your kidneys start to fail, it's not just one system that collapses, it's a cascading domino effect throughout your entire body. Your heart weakens because it has to work exponentially harder to pump blood through damaged, calcified arteries. Your bones become fragile and porous because calcium is being leached out to neutralize excess phosphorus. Your blood becomes toxic because waste products like urea and creatinine can't be eliminated properly. Your brain function deteriorates because toxins start accumulating in your bloodstream. Your energy disappears because your body can't produce enough red blood cells to carry oxygen. And in the end stages of kidney failure, you become completely dependent on dialysis machines, sitting in a clinic 3 times a week for 4 hours at a time while a machine does the work your kidneys can no longer do. Or you're placed on a transplant waiting list, hoping that a donor kidney becomes available before your time runs out. And here's what breaks my heart. All of this, every bit of this suffering, this loss of independence, this catastrophic decline could have been prevented if you had simply known what foods to avoid and had your kidney function tested regularly. So let me bring this full circle and make absolutely sure you understand the pattern. Every single food I've mentioned in this video, the processed meats, the canned soups, the dark sodas, the dairy products, the high potassium fruits and vegetables, the whole grains, the salt substitutes, every single one of them is dangerous for the exact same reason. They contain dangerously high levels of one or more of 3 minerals: sodium, phosphorus, or potassium. These are the 3 minerals that aging kidneys cannot process efficiently anymore. And when these minerals accumulate in your bloodstream slowly, silently, day after day, meal after meal, they trigger a cascade of life-threatening complications. Sodium causes fluid retention and skyrocketing blood pressure, which damages your kidneys even further and strains your heart. Phosphorus pulls calcium from your bones, weakening your skeleton, and deposits that calcium in your arteries, your heart, and your blood vessels, turning them rigid and brittle. Potassium disrupts the electrical signals in your heart, causing irregular, potentially fatal heart rhythms that can lead to sudden cardiac arrest. These three minerals are silent killers. They don't announce themselves. They don't cause immediate pain. They accumulate gradually, invisibly, until one day your body reaches a tipping point and everything falls apart. But now, right here, right now, I want you to take a deep breath and hear this message of hope, because it's just as important as everything else I've told you. You still have time. If you're watching this video right now, if you're hearing my voice, if you're understanding these words, that means your kidneys are still working. They may be declining. They may be weakened. They may be functioning at 80% or 70% or even 60% capacity. But they're still working. They're still filtering. They're still fighting to keep you alive. And that means you can still protect them. You can still slow the damage. In some cases, with the right diet and lifestyle changes, you can even reverse some of the early damage and improve your kidney function. You can still live a long, independent, vibrant, healthy life, free from dialysis, free from hospitals, free from the nightmare of kidney failure. But only if you act now. Only if you take what you've learned in this video seriously. Only if you make the changes starting today, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. So what do you do next? How do you take this information and turn it into action? Let me give you a simple, clear, step-by-step plan that you can start implementing the moment this video ends. This is your roadmap to kidney health, and it could genuinely save your life. Listen, I know this information is overwhelming. I really do. You've just spent the last several minutes learning that 8 common foods you've been eating your entire life, foods you thought were harmless or even healthy, could be slowly destroying your kidneys. That's a lot to take in. That's heavy. That's scary. But I want you to take a deep breath right now and remember this one fundamental truth. Knowledge is power. You are not powerless. You are not a victim. You now have information that most seniors over 60 will never have. You understand the 3 dangerous minerals, sodium, phosphorus, and potassium. You know exactly which foods contain dangerously high levels of these minerals. You know why processed meats, canned foods, dark sodas, dairy products, high potassium fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and salt substitutes are problematic for aging kidneys. You know the warning signs to watch for. You know the science behind what's happening inside your body. And most importantly, you know that your kidneys are still working right now, which means you still have the power to protect them, to preserve them, to give yourself the best possible chance at a long, healthy, independent life. So here's exactly what I want you to do right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but as soon as this video ends. Step 1. Print out or write down the 8 categories of foods I mentioned in this video. Keep that list somewhere visible, on your refrigerator, in your wallet, next to your meal planning area. Make it impossible to forget. Step 2. Go through your kitchen right now. Open your pantry. Open your refrigerator. Open your freezer. Identify which of these 8 dangerous food categories you currently have in your home. You don't have to throw everything away immediately if that feels too drastic. But at the very least, become aware. Start reading labels. Start making conscious choices. Step 3. Schedule an appointment with your doctor as soon as possible. Tell them you want a kidney function test. Ask specifically for a creatinine test and a GFR test, that's glomerular filtration rate. These are simple blood tests that will tell you exactly how well your kidneys are functioning right now. Don't wait for symptoms. Don't assume everything is fine. Get tested. Know your numbers. Step 4. If your test results show any signs of declining kidney function, even early-stage decline, ask your doctor to refer you to a registered renal dietitian. These are specialists who work specifically with kidney patients. They can create a personalized meal plan tailored to your exact kidney function level, your specific health conditions, and your food preferences. This is not something you should try to navigate alone. Your kidneys are two of the most important organs in your body. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to keep you alive and healthy. They filter your blood. They balance your minerals. They regulate your blood pressure. They protect your heart. They deserve your respect. They deserve your care. They deserve your attention. It's not too late. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal when you give it the right support. You can slow kidney decline. You can protect the function you still have. You can live a full, vibrant, independent life well into your 80s and 90s if you make these changes now. If this video helped you, if it opened your eyes, if it gave you valuable information, if it potentially saved your life or the life of someone you love, please do me a favor. Share this video with another senior who needs to hear this message. Send it to your spouse, your siblings, your friends, your neighbors. This information is too important to keep to yourself. And leave a comment below right now. Tell me, which of these 8 foods surprised you the most? Which ones are you eating regularly? What's your biggest challenge when it comes to changing your diet? I read every single comment, and your questions help me create better content to serve you. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. Thank you for taking your health seriously. Thank you for being here. Now go take action. Protect those kidneys. Stay healthy. Stay strong. Stay independent. And I'll see you in the next video.